Why do codependents often have difficulty being alone in their own company? The thought of being alone, to not be around others, or to not be in an intimate relationship is terrifying. We often hear about the need to fill up our own cup, but if you learned from a very young age to be codependent, which is in response to a narcissistic parent typically, you don't have the foundation from which to fill up your own cup and to know how to be alone and to be comfortable in your own skin. So let's look at what narcissism is and what codependency is from some very general standpoints. A narcissist says, when I can control and manipulate other people to give to me, I feel loved. So I'm going to control and manipulate in order to have other people show me love, to give me adoration and admire me and tell me how great I am and to lift me up. And that's when I feel loved. Now, if you're the codependent says, well, when I give to others, when I can give and please them and make them happy and anticipate their needs and meet those needs, when I give to others, then I am happy. So you see how these fit together. So if we have a narcissistic parent who needs to be needed, who basically teaches their children from a young age to give to them, and when you give to that parent, then they give you love and approval. So as children, we learn to give and please and do everything we can, because when we give to that parent and we make them happy, in return, we get love, we get protection, we get safety. And as a child, absolutely, from that level of development, does not understand anything other than this parent I'm completely dependent on for my basic needs of survival, and I'm dependent on for my sense of community, and I'm dependent on for love. A child can't say, that's my parent and they have wounds that they haven't healed and they're making me responsible for their happiness and that's really not good. I'm going to do this other thing instead. A child developmentally and psychologically cannot do that. So what happens is as children, we learn we are responsible for everyone's happiness. And we can keep ourselves safe by just giving and making sure that they're happy. And in the meantime, where are we? Where is our self and our development and our needs and our growth? It never gets to be expressed. We never learn to be autonomous and to be confident in who we are. What we do know is how to please others. We know how to read people extremely well. We know how to function in volatility and crisis and trauma, because there's probably a lot of that went on in our upbringing. Going back to the original question, why is it so hard to be alone? If we are in a relationship, and let's say you are in one relationship after another, or perhaps you just keep your life so busy with friends and activities and work or school or different things you're doing so that you never have to be alone and by yourself. Because as soon as it gets quiet, there's no distractions, there's no relationship, there's no text messages or emails, there's nothing to do. What shows up? And oftentimes what comes up is all the fear, the guilt, the anxiety, the self-doubt, the self-hatred. The wounded inner child comes up and all of those feelings explode when they are not being covered up by layers of people and relationships and things to do. And that's very, very painful. So in order to become healthy and to learn how to have a healthy relationship with ourselves, to have self-love, we have to begin to give to ourselves and to go into that scary place of being alone. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to say, okay, that's it. I'm going to totally clear my calendar and just jump right in. That's a recipe for anxiety right there. What we have to do is know that this is what our wound is. We have to start to reparent ourselves. That means to give ourselves what we never received. When we have that open space in our calendar, or we have no relationship going on, or we find ourselves running towards another relationship and start dating again, and there's this part of us that is saying, hey, maybe you're not ready. And instead of going into that same rut that you've always gone into, give yourself space. Because once you have space, what can you do with that? You can begin to cultivate your relationship with yourself. You can begin to deal with those feelings, those strong, painful feelings that are being suppressed by other things and people. When you have that space, that is an opportunity, a golden opportunity for you to get to know you. What do you like and not like? How do you want to live your life? What do you want for your hobbies? What food do you like to eat? What music do you want to listen to? What do you want to do with your free time? How do you want to structure your day? Basic things. It also gives you the opportunity to explore different aspects of yourself and different experiences in life with just yourself. And in the process of allowing yourself to do that, you face fear after fear after fear, and you build confidence, and you build self-reliance and autonomy. And it's scary. It's very, very scary at first. But it's like anything. You learned to function in chaos and trauma and crisis. You learned to function in a relationship and give and give and give and give of yourself. And now it's time to give to yourself. Not to give to others, not to please others, but now it's time to please you. It's time to give to yourself. And that's how you will begin to cultivate self-love. That's how you begin to fill up your own cup. So that you know yourself, you love yourself, you begin to be able to set boundaries. Because before, when we are so busy pleasing others, we can't set boundaries because we're always tiptoeing around and we're afraid to make people mad. Because when we upset people or we don't please them or they're angry with us, then that means abandonment, abuse, or other things, being ostracized from the family or whatever it was. Do you see how it all works together? So when we allow ourselves pockets of time or periods of time in our life to just be alone, and we come face to face with those parts we've been running with, and when those come up and they're wounded and they're crying and they're hurting, I want you to bring them in close to you and give them a big hug. Give them your love. Give them your nurturing. Those are the parts of you, the wounded child that never got that love. So give that to yourself now. That's how to reparent yourself. That's how to love yourself. I know what it's like, and you can get through it. Just face it one piece at a time. And you'll find out as you go through the process that you know who you are, that you have the confidence, that you've dropped the guilt, and that you know it's not selfish to take care of yourself and to be with yourself. You're becoming more whole. You're healing from the trauma that you once endured. So keep going, keep at it. Give yourself a great big hug and love those parts of yourself. Love those emotions. Love that hurt inner child. Take good care of yourselves. Keep going forward, and I'll see you in the next video.